Hello, beautiful people. It's James here from Food Matters.
And Laurentine. Hello.
And we are live coming to you from our Australian Food Matters headquarters. It is currently 10 a.m. in the morning on, what day is it? Geez, Friday. If you're in the US, it's 8 p.m. Eastern in New York or on the East Coast. So welcome. If you're in the UK, it's the middle of the night. What are you doing awake? But we welcome you as well. It's so exciting to be bringing this webinar to you. It's part of the Detox and Cleanse workshop that we've been running over the past few days, and it's just been electric seeing everybody watch all the documentaries and the live interviews. What are some of the films we've had?
Yeah, thanks so much for tuning in, guys. I know you've loved all the films. I love picking these documentaries because they're personally our favorites. So we really loved seeing everybody's feedback about it. I love Fat, Sick and Nearly Dead.
Yeah.
It's absolutely my favorite.
Great film. We had a new interview with Joe Cross as well. Some great aha moments in there. We had David Wolf too. You know, some of the big ahas from David Wolf's interview was how powerful detoxification is. And it's actually one of the most powerful techniques we need to be embracing when it comes to overall health, wellness, and longevity in particular. So we're going to be getting more into that as we get into the live webinar. So super exciting. We've had over 80,000 people join this event. You know, every year that Food Matters has been around since the film came out, we've had more and more people come into this community and come into this Food Matters and FMTV world, and it's been just such a great honor to be a co-host with Laurentine.
80,000, that is a lot. That is probably the biggest amount of people tuning in.
It's a huge football stadium full of people all coming together with the same mission and the same passion and the same purpose. You know, and our mission is the same as yours. You know, we're a lot alike in that we really want to look for the best strategies we can find in order to improve our own health, in order to also be that shining light for our community, our parents, our siblings, our friends, our loved ones, so that we can help them access this life-changing information as well.
And we want to help empower everybody to take their life back into their own hands, like their health back into their own hands and their own life. Because so often people ask us, like, why weren't we taught this at school? You know, why weren't we taught this by our parents? Then we ask, like, why weren't we taught this at school? You know, so unfortunately, it has to come to the fact that people have to search this information outside of their school arena or their parents' education. So we're here for that, and we can't wait to help educate you throughout this whole journey.
Great. So if you're just tuning in, welcome again to this live webinar. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule and day to be here with us. Life just seems to get busier and busier. I know it's crazy. So the investment of your time and in particular your effort into educating yourself is such an important decision, and I give you a lot of thanks for being here. I'm going to give you a quick overview now of what we're going to be covering during this live webinar. The first section we're going to be talking about is a lot about our personal story, and, you know, really going through some of the challenges that my father's been through with his health and how we've been able to help him transition to a healthier lifestyle, and some of the challenges that Laurentine's dad's going through as well. This is just, Laurentine 72 hours ago got back
flew in from Holland.
So got back from a trip to Europe, and, statistically, we're all going to be exposed to chronic illness in our families, and we really need to have better tools to be able to make better decisions for our health and try to have better strategies for helping influence our friends and families as well to make those better decisions.
Yeah, so that's right. If you're not listening for yourself, you may as well be listening for your family, because we are here to look after the family, and our family is our pillars of health.
So that's the first step, is going to be some of the personal stories and education. Next step, we're going to go into our 3 key pillars of overall health, vitality, and well-being. These 3 pillars are so important, and I love taking concepts that are profound and difficult and bringing them into a step-by-step fashion. And these 3 pillars really help to break down that transition from wherever you are now to where you want to be, really helping provide a roadmap and chunking down some of these big goals that you might have, whether it's preventing disease or whether it's simply improving your energy or maybe losing a bit of weight or improving your gut or digestion. If you focus on these 3 core pillars, you're going to be able to get from where you are now to where you want to be. So that's the second step of this webinar. The third step is we're going to be doing a demo.
I want to talk too.
You
every
talk
now
about
and
it.
then.
Go for it. It's fine. I'll have a drink.
So we're also going to be doing a demo, just talking about some of the amazing smoothies and juices that we'll be incorporating in the cleanse, in the 7-day cleanse. And you're probably wondering why we're drinking green juice. So we'll be talking about what we put in our green drinks, and our green smoothies, and our green juices.
So that's going to be fun. So we've got all of our ingredients ready here to go as well to do a live smoothie. So it could get a bit loud, so you might need your headphones. Take your headphones off at that point. And then finally, after that, we're going to be doing a lot of Q&A time with you directly. We've got some questions from throughout the last sort of 5 to 7 days, or 7 to 8 days of running the Detox and Cleanse workshop. And we've got those questions here already in my little cliff notes here for the event. And I'm also going to be taking some live questions on the iPad here. So if you've got any questions, put them in the Facebook feed below, and I'll be able to take them and answer your questions live as we go. So that'll be where we finish up today. So, sound good? Sound like a plan? Great. So let's start with a little bit about this trip.
How about I tell a story about Dad first and what's just happened?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Let's start off with that personal story. I mean, so you just flew in from Holland like 72 hours ago. You've been there helping your dad. Tell everybody a little bit about what's going on and some of the challenges.
Yeah, it was obviously really sad to be away from my family for a week. I left Hugo and James behind because I knew I needed to do this for myself. Sometimes you need to step up and really be there for family members, and you sort of can only do that in a focused way. Dad has been diagnosed with dementia now for 2 years only, but there was obviously signs of him going through dementia probably like a start of 5 years ago. And a year ago we had to put him in a home, and that was for me the most challenging decision we've ever had to do, especially, because we're both, our personal stories are very much about looking after our family, and I felt like I needed to deal with that guilt first and just know that it's not necessarily up to me to make that decision. It was really just, we've tried our best with him. We did everything we could. We really helped him to improve his diet and improve the way that he was looking upon his health. Like, mindset is so important as well, but it wasn't really resonating with him. And some people are very steeped in their old beliefs and what they're stuck in their belief systems on what they eat, how they believe, how they focus on waking up in this world. So sometimes you just can't do anything. But Dad, loving father and husband to 3 kids, he is now unfortunately in a really deteriorated state. His cognitive function is literally not existent anymore. I mean, he was there he did see us and recognize us at certain occasions when we first arrived. Our whole family was there. But, he's, just imagine, very frail, lying down in bed, just out to it, basically, on his last legs, which is really sad for us as a family to hear. So frail that, he doesn't even know how to put food in his mouth anymore. Like, we're literally feeding him, and these are the sort of things that make you worried, because you're looking at this is like his last couple of days or months on this earth. What can you do? We were there doing a lot of blessings. We were doing a lot of healing ceremonies with him, and we had the priest come out, and it's really, really obviously really sad, but it is the end stages, and we have tried a lot of things. And should we go over the?
But one of the things that you were most shocked about when you were in Holland was about the fact that there's a lot of research now around dementia and Alzheimer's, and the statistics are shocking now. We have over 50% of people over the age of 85 are diagnosed with Alzheimer's and dementia. I mean, this is a severe chronic degenerative disease of the brain. And if you do an autopsy on a brain of someone who's suffered from dementia or Alzheimer's, you'll see that it's incredibly inflamed. So the question is, what causes inflammation in the brain, and how can we help it?
Let's just think about this. 5 million Americans have been diagnosed with Alzheimer's. And it is it's a really dangerous illness, and it can happen really quickly. We never knew it. We never knew that it could happen so fast to Dad.
So, but one of the biggest things you notice when you're in Holland this time is when we're in Australia, or if we're in Southern California, or we're traveling and we're with our friends and our community, like you guys, like our FMTV community, our Food Matters community, everyone seems to be eating well. But then when you sort of look outside externally, you see the bread consumption, the processed meat consumption, like the processed food consumption of children and parents, particularly in Holland.
I grew up with white bread and chocolate sprinkles for breakfast, and that was not frowned upon. That was nothing really was said about that, and people still eat that. Like, the kids of this next generation. I mean, I was sitting in the breakfast hall in the hotel that we were staying at, and it was, kids everywhere eating white bread, chocolate sprinkles, and becel, which is not even butter. It's fake butter, basically. Spreadable butter. So yeah, if that's our next generation, I'm really worried for what's going to happen. And like, these people run a clinic there to help people with dementia, and why was that overlooked? Why is
I don't know. They're still feeding them bread. They're still feeding them processed foods, and this is such a big challenge. I mean, when you think about dementia in particular, there's a lot of research showing now that it's like type 3 diabetes, which is the new term they're giving to Alzheimer's and dementia. And this is so interesting because it just goes to show that that increased sugar consumption we're suffering from in our day-to-day diets is leading to all sorts of inflammation and problems throughout the body. And it's something that is so easy to address from a dietary and lifestyle perspective. So it's really something really important to focus on. And, Mark Hyman has said, he's a holistic practitioner. We've done some work with him in the past. We've interviewed him for the latest Food Matters 3 documentary that's coming out. And he says that if you get to it early enough, you can actually you can very easily prevent the early onset of this disease, but you can also reverse it if you get to it early enough by looking after the brain. So you think about it, one of the things that for me, seeing your dad in this state, being such a powerful human his whole life, to when you start to lose that brain faculty, that brain function, it really does, you really start to let go of your mind and body, and you become a completely different person. So it's really challenging. Hang on, if we got audio issues, is that okay? I've turned audio up on here as much as I can. Okay. It's up full, so maybe pull that close. We're going to just go to a screen for about 2 seconds and check some audio things and come right back. 1 second. And we are back. Sorry if we've been a bit quiet for you. We've just moved the microphone in a little bit closer and turned it up. So hopefully that's better. So, Mark Hyman was showing that dementia and Alzheimer's is something that can be really easily turned around and prevented if you just focus on looking after the brain. And, I read a book earlier this year called Where Are You Going by Swami Muktananda. It was like a spiritual book. But the ancient sages say that the most important organ and faculty that you have is the ability to cognitively think. And that is your brain. And it's something that we really don't give a lot of focus to. And until you start to lose memory, or to lose your brain, or to lose your thoughts, or to suffer from Alzheimer's and dementia, and then you realize that you are nothing without that brain. So
it is so sad to see also a lot of people in this dementia and Alzheimer's ward where my dad is. The quality of life obviously is so diminished because this is our brain. If we lose the capacity over our brain, we hardly have any quality of life. So I mean, if anything, watching this can help you start realizing the power of the way we think and the way we eat to prevent these sort of illnesses, then I would definitely start looking into this early if you start seeing this in your parents.
So another, thanks so much, Laurentine, for sharing that. It's so tough to go through these sort of situations, but we really want to just empathize with everybody listening that these are real challenges that we face in our families, in our day-to-day life. Chronic disease is now the plague of modern humans, and it's because we've completely changed the way we interact with the planet, we've interacted with our diets. My dad's story was a perfect case example for this.
Yeah.
He was a professional accountant and company auditor. He was working hard and playing hard, and the way that he would deal with stress would be to go and drink 6 beers and eat, and gorge out on some not so healthy food. I mean, food that we're told is healthy by our governments, but it's maybe not so healthy. And this basically led to him being diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome, depression, anxiety. He was put on 6 different medications, and over a 5-year period, he was completely bedridden. He put on a lot of weight. And Laurentine and I, this was about the same time when we were sort of looking to create the Food Matters documentary, and we were really struggling with to find a way that we could help influence his health, and to find a way that we could really help to try to convince him that food and nutrition and natural therapies would be a good choice for him to make. And it was difficult for us to convince him, but once we started to interview some leading health experts from around the world and provide that information to him, it was like it impacted him in a completely different way. And by seeing these doctors and researchers and naturopaths, the people that we interviewed for the Food Matters documentary, show that a lot of the medications he was on were a lot more dangerous than he first thought, and that by shifting over to a cleansing and detoxification style of life, you can really help to clean the body out and get off your medications and improve your health. And in fact, after seeing those interviews, in a 3-month period post that, he was off all his medications. He'd lost 50 pounds, or around 25 kilograms, and was back to normal. So it was such a dramatic transformation for him.
But he needed to make the shift, right? Like it's so often the case, like you can send them books, you can send them, like we were sending James's father so many books on health, and it wasn't really necessarily him that was reading it. It was like mostly James's mom that was reading it. But, if it wasn't for him actually watching these films and making that shift himself, he probably wouldn't have realized that, because he was still listening to his doctors. But it was only when he started to go, okay, I actually see the power of this. And once he listened to these other experts that are also doctors, they're natural therapists, and they were teaching more about, the healing power of the body and the healing power of foods, he started to realize there may be another way.
Yeah. And this is the biggest thing that we've learned in the last sort of 10 years of being in the health and wellness space, is that education is key when it comes to all health transformation. When you start to look at what causes people to change, what causes you to change, what causes us to improve our diet and change, it's access to better quality information. And Andrew Saul from the Food Matters documentary actually said, I think in one statement, when people have access to better quality, and I would add independent information, people invariably make better decisions for their health.
Nice.
The problem is that in this day and age, we've relegated education around medical procedures, pharmaceutical drugs, food, health and wellness to the corporations and to the regulatory industries, and they generally don't have our best interests at heart. That's why doing the research, doing the education is such a critical element in improving your health and life and having a better quality life. I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, I think we share the same ideals and visions for life, which is to be healthy, happy, vibrant, and to do good for others. I mean, these are the core pillars of humanity, and the more healthy we are, the more happy we are, the more we're able to impact other people in a positive way. And that starts with looking after your vessel, your body. And how do you educate yourself about doing that? Books, films, online websites, events like this one. But in particular, the most effective form of education, I believe, is documentaries. And that's what really inspired us to put FMTV together and put together these collection of films, unlike any other collection of films anywhere else in the world, so that we can provide a platform for healing and knowledge exchange. I mean, we used to sit around the fireplace and exchange knowledge. We don't have fireside chats anymore. That doesn't exist. We used to pass down knowledge from generation to generation. Now we get our information from, like I said, mainstream corporations, the government, and media, and we believe what they're being fed to us, as opposed to independently doing that research ourselves and sharing this information with a community of like-minded people. So education for my father's transformation was so important. Unfortunately, in your dad's case, it's a little bit late, and he's been very resistant to any sort of change. But education is such a critical element to that.
And if you're not doing the education for yourself, I mean, I hope you are, but if you're, like, a lot of people come to us and say, I've started a family, and I'm really looking forward to making sure my children are alive on this world and healthy and happy, then sometimes you may be doing it for your children. I think that's probably one of the biggest drivers in us as well. Like, if we're doing this for our children, for the next generation, the best thing about FMTV as well, there's a section there where there's family friendly films. So instead of your kids watching Nickelodeon, you could be putting on something that is actually going to inspire them to learn about where their food comes from, how they can grow their own food at home, how they can understand more about how their body works. I mean, if we start this early enough, kids actually going to take the lead. Kids, I mean, I know Hugo does. He understands about green drinks. He's like, Mom, I need a green drink when he's not feeling healthy. Like, they really imitate what we do. And so if you're doing it for your kids, it's really the most empowering way to continue with this message.
Great. So let's get to the 3 pillars of health now. This is the core of the webinar, where we really want to go deep into these 3 pillars to help sort of guide you and provide a lot of information about what are the key strategies around these 3 pillars that can help you improve your health. And like I said, get from wherever you are now to where you want to be, whether there's gut disturbances or indigestion or immunity issues or chronic disease. These relate to all humans and help at every level. So the first pillar understandably is
Drum roll.
drum roll, is nutrition. This is where the rubber hits the road. And I remember hearing this from David Wolf actually a number of years ago. He said,
Food does matter.
yeah, he said food matters, but you can have the most expensive Lamborghini in the world with the most supercharged engine, but if you don't have tires on that thing, you're not going anywhere. And it's like our body is the most powerful supercharged vehicle in the planet. I mean, you start to study anatomy and human physiology, you'd be present at any birth and watch a baby come into this world and take its first breath. The human body and this human form is an absolute miracle, and it's capable of so much incredible work, but it needs good fuel. It needs good nutrition. It needs good support with providing the body with what it needs to grow. And when we start to look at diet and nutrition, the way that we've interacted with the planet has greatly changed over the last 50 to 100 years in particular, especially post-World War II. I mean, pre-World War II, or those great world wars, we actually had a closer connection with our local food supply, with seasonality, with the health of the soil, and we really had that connection to where our food comes from. And post-World War II, we moved into this sort of chemical, sort of industrialized agricultural process, which has meant a huge increase in the toxicity that goes into farming, and also a huge increase in the addition of toxic additives in processed foods as well. Now, we think that this has been a huge boon for humanity because it's increased convenience, but at a massive cost. I mean, you look at the rates of chronic disease we're experiencing these days, and so much of it now is being linked back to these chemicals that are in our environment. They're in our air, they're in our water, they're in our bodies, they're in our cells. Even chemicals that have been banned years and years and years ago are still in our bodies. So nutrition is such a powerful way to sort of provide good nutrition to the body, but also help to draw out a lot of those toxins as well.
And if I can add a little bit, I don't want to degrade or how I feel about my country people, but I just was in Holland for only a space of a week, and I find I look around in train stations or on the train and in airports, and I'm like, these people do not look healthy. I mean, I don't want to use the words, but it's sort of like death warmed up. Like dark clothing, their skin doesn't look healthy. Like, what are we doing? And if I think about what it is, sure, it is we're coming out of winter time. It's, the access to fresh green foods are probably not really readily available. But it's also our culture. Our culture is to eat a lot of processed foods, like white bread, still very, processed grains and processed white non-organic flour. And then eating a lot of factory farmed meat, like a lot of the meats that are on options, like basically for breakfast and for lunch, it's white bread and
meat and
meats,
cheese,
meats like processed meats that are straight directly from factory farms. And where is the greens? Where is the alkalizing minerals, and where is the alkalizing vegetables? I mean, a lot of times we do not see them as the Dutch people. I mean, we just have them cooked for dinner. So yeah, so
it really is shocking. And when you start to observe nutrition in the environment, when you move around and see what people are eating, and it can be quite shocking. But one of the big things that happened was then in the 80s, we're like, well, we got a problem here. We got weight issues, we got disease issues. There was this huge diet boom, and there was a lot of diets created around eliminating or restricting certain food groups from our diet. So it was like a low fat diet, there was low carb diet, there was obviously vegan, vegetarian type diets, and some of these work short term for people, but where they all generally missed the boat was on this concept of adding. Now, whenever we restrict something from any human, it really, you get this longing for it, you almost want it more, and it becomes a challenge. There are certain A-type personalities that can restrict a particular food group from their diet with no problems and never have to want it again. And some people are like, look, gluten doesn't serve me, or grains, I'm not having it. But for the average you and I, for the average people out there, adding is such a powerful process in order to be able to do that. So how do we add more vegetables, fruits, nuts, seeds, seaweeds, herbs, superfoods, these incredible foods from nature that have such powerful healing properties into our diet on a daily basis? And one of the most powerful and efficient way to do that is to add it in, but also to liquefy it, right?
Liquefy it.
So what are some of the ways that we liquefy our alkalizing greens and that into our diet?
Smoothies, right?
Smoothies, juices as well, and also soups is really powerful, or mixing up like powdered green drinks into water as well can be really powerful. And this is a process of, if we just started adding those types of foods, that liquid nutrition into our diet, it can have such a profound effect on our overall health and well-being. And that's why, we've put together on FMTV, we've got a new program launching called the 7-Day Cleanse. And this is a liquid-based cleansing program. This is where we have juices, smoothies, soups over a schedule of days to help you basically add more liquid nutrition into your diet. So why is liquid nutrition important, and what's the difference between juices and smoothies? Let's get to that a bit. So liquid nutrition is important because generally what happens when we digest food is that we eat food. And what happens when we eat food? Well, we smell it, we sort of start to secrete digestive juices. Then we go through the process of mastication or chewing. Now, very few of us chew in a very conscious way. Most of us is like 1, 2, 3, down the hatch. And this is not great. This puts a lot of stress on our digestive system because it's receiving food that's only very, very, very partly digested. And it has to do a lot of work. That's why we get so tired after eating a big meal or a Thanksgiving meal. We haven't properly chewed our food, and we haven't really broken it down before it gets into our digestive system. Plus, if we have digestive issues such as leaky gut or irritable bowel, or we have bloating and gas quite commonly, then we have a digestive disturbance, and that means that it's overloaded, it's been aggravated, possibly with irritants or allergies. And so what we need to do is, how do we get more liquid nutrition into our bodies without aggravating our digestive process? And that's where creating juices or smoothies or soups can really help to do that, and just help to take the load off the digestive system.
Yeah.
And when you do that for a period of time, like we have during the 7-Day Cleanse, you actually get the opportunity to really increase your energy levels because you're taking a lot of that energy off your digestive system.
Yeah, and cleansing, the idea of cleansing is not a new concept. The idea of cleansing has come, even from biblical times, where fasting for a period of time, or different religions participate in fasting a lot of times, and really it gives our body the time to deal with all the things that it hasn't been able to deal with. Foods that haven't been digested properly, that have been stored as fats, or different types of digestive issues, like James was saying, that are able to be healed naturally. That's what our body does. When you give it a break, it goes back and it heals. It heals itself naturally.
That's right. So another thing, a big question that always comes up, and we're going to get to a few questions here from Ambe, Angelica, and Lisa in just a few seconds. Thanks for providing those questions via Facebook. And don't worry, we're going to get to the live Facebook questions as well.
Yeah.
But one of the questions that comes up a lot for people is, what's the difference between juicing and blending? And I want to really handle this right now. And I think both have incredible benefits, and both are easily explained in this fashion. Juicing is more like liquid nutrition. So this is like a liquid supplement where you're extracting the liquid nutrients out of vegetables and fruits and putting it into a liquid form. With a smoothie, you're essentially, it's a whole food. It's a whole meal that you're blending into a liquefied form. So and you're still retaining the fiber with a smoothie, which can be beneficial from a blood sugar perspective. So with smoothies, it can tolerate more sweet fruits and sweeteners than a juice can. Like with juicing, it's quite dangerous to put a lot of high sugar fruits in there, because it can really spike your blood sugar a lot. So with the juices, I'm much more focused on the greens, keeping it as alkaline as possible. And with the smoothies, we can tolerate a little bit more because you're able to add elements like fat and protein and the fiber as well to help stabilize that blood sugar. So they're the two differences. Both are incredibly beneficial for health and healing. And I have not a real preference. I sort of just duck and weave between the two. If I'm doing a cleanse, I'll do juices and smoothies and soups. Sometimes smoothies and soups feel a bit more sustainable because it's more satiating. You get that feeling of being full, which a lot of people struggle with when cleansing. So that's why we've integrated them a lot.
But I don't want people to think, those people that don't have a juicer at home, I don't want them to think, oh no, I won't be able to do this program. I do really think that, we've, personally, sometimes when you're on the road and you don't have a juicer, I still go for the smoothies. And, the smoothies can definitely have its place in that way. And we've definitely designed this program as well so that you don't necessarily have to have a juicer.
No. So we're going to get to a live demo of the recipe as well, one of our signature green smoothies, which we'll get to in a minute after we cover these three pillars. But let's answer some questions here that we've had come through on Facebook. So Ambe writes, which is the best to consume? Ambe Nijar Siddiq. thank you for giving us a question on Facebook during the
Beautiful
Cleanse and Detox workshop. So which is the best to consume for overall health benefits, juices or smoothies? Well, like I've sort of said, they both have incredible, powerful benefits to healing and longevity. I think juices probably have the edge when you have severe chronic degenerative disease and you really need to nutrition to get in there, or if you have a really, really, really
Overloaded.
well, bad digestion. I mean, juices can be really powerful and healing in that way. And then smoothies are fantastic for like long-term, always having them in your diet. Almost they're like meal replacements in a lot of ways, so they can be really powerful. I know so many people that they have a routine of just having a green smoothie in the morning or some sort of smoothie. And when they slip off that bandwagon, they notice they don't feel as good, So it's such a powerful ritual to have. So both are fantastic, and my recommendation is add in both and whatever you feel like at whatever time. Smoothies are beneficial as well when colder months because you can have it warm and room temperature. You can have hot tea smoothies as well, which is a bit of fun. So that's fun too in cold weather.
There's also something to note, the Gerson therapy, which has been around for a while for treating cancer. They use a lot of green and cabbage juices. They use different types of very highly mineralizing and alkalizing juices for the treatment of cancer and eradication of toxins. So, for any type of protocols, if you look into them for treating illness and treating disease, the juices have mostly been used.
Yeah, that's very common with chronic degenerative disease. And Angelica actually asked a question here. Angelica Bosfield, thank you so much. I drink about a quart... Blosfeld. I drink about a quart of green juices a day as part of my cancer healing. There you go. It's unbelievable. You just brought that up. Can we still drink green juices during this cleanse? So this is during the 7-day Food Matters cleanse that's kicking off April 3rd, so next Monday. Also wondering if there's a lot of fruit in the smoothies, bananas, etc. I have candida and don't want to have the high sugar fruits. Thank you. Great question. Awesome you brought this up. With the 7-day cleanse that we have coming up, we have mostly smoothies with some juices in there. So you don't need to have a juicer because we know statistics show that only 4% of households in the US have a juicer.
Yeah.
But just about everybody, I think it's over 60% or something, has a
have
blender or
a
some sort of
blender.
food processor in order to be able to blend something up.
Shall we talk about how we've nutritionally put together the juices and smoothies? And
Let's
the
do that
soups?
when we do the... Yeah, we can. I just want to answer this question about the high sugar fruits in particular.
Right.
Because and that'll answer that a little bit, you're right. So we do have some high sugar fruits that we put into our smoothies during the cleanse. But we're very careful to make sure that there's a good amount of fat in that smoothie.
Yeah.
And there's also some protein in that smoothie. This is exactly what you're saying. And also, ideally, some cinnamon or herbs that help to lower the blood sugar level. If you are suffering from candida or yeast infections, then I would recommend just leaving them out. That'd be a tweak that you can make personally when you're doing this cleanse, would be to leave some of those things out. If you're an everyday person and you're just feeling sluggish and tired and you really just need a kickstart and a reboot, then I suggest leave them in because it helps you achieve this cleanse. I really think this is not a hardcore detox. This is about really just about how do we add more of these life-giving foods into our diet? How do we make it taste amazing? How do we make it sustainable? And how do we make it something fun that we can interact with on a daily basis?
Yeah, so we've really made sure that every meal or smoothie in a meal in a smoothie, or soup has been created nutritionally balanced so that, like James was saying, the proteins, the fats, and the alkalizing vegetables or fruits.
Alkalizing greens, yes. So Lisa Camarelli writes, wondering if you had to choose between buying a blender or a juicer, which would you go for and why? Keeping in mind
so tough.
that I have 2 girls, 3 and 8. Thank you for all the love tuning in.
I would say blender.
Oh,
What would
blender?
you say?
I would say for the kids, blender. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
kids love... I mean, Hugo loves making juices with us too. But blending is faster. And it's kids love it too. They really do. And the juicer, I have both at home. And I love a lot of different types of blenders, from Blendtec to Vitamix to NutriBullet. And I have quite a selection of them at the office and at home. So I don't really have a preference for either of them. They're all great. And juices, I do have a favorite on the juicing side, definitely Haram juicer. They've been one of the most original in the technology with regards to cold press juicing. So, to me, I would get both if you can, but if you had to choose one, get a blender. That's for sure. Kids love it. It's super fun.
And we've also got some awesome specials for the FMTV members.
Yeah, we have specials for FMTV members. So if you join FMTV as part of this 7-day cleanse, which cutoff is midnight, March 31st, that's this Friday. We also have a members special section, which is also available to midnight Friday. And we have discounts on the Haram Juicer as well. So check that out. It's really great.
And just on the blender, I was just thinking, if you've got kids, like so often Hugo would come home or he'd be like, I'm really hungry right now, Mum. Like, you know, sometimes you just don't have time to create a whole meal, but having a blender is so handy for, you know, like you can just add a whole bunch of like yummy ingredients that you grab from your fruit bowl, and you add some coconut water or coconut milk, and you've got a meal in a glass for them straight away. So yeah, I really like, for kids, having a blender is good.
Okay, great. So let's get to the second pillar now, which is movement. So the first pillar was nutrition, and the second pillar is movement. So when you look at the body and when you're going through a detox in particular, because we're talking a little bit about the 7-day Food Matters Cleanse program, and when you're doing a cleanse or when you're taking a period of time where you're like, you know what, body, I thank you, and for 7 days, I'm just going to give you really, really, really high quality ingredients. And I'm going to really just let you rest and rejuvenate and help to clear out some of the metabolic toxins and waste that exist in the body. And when you think about what type of movement supports that cleansing and that detoxification process as much as possible, to me it's gentle yoga, gentle exercise, stretching, walking,
meditation,
maybe some meditation, also breath work. I might talk a little bit about breath work. And did you want to talk a little bit about the yoga and some of those traditions?
Yeah, well, we've definitely added a lot of yoga, but more of the gentle yoga and the easy to use like stretches. And you know, yoga has been around for centuries, and it was if you look up ancient Tibetan rites, yoga is very much part of a lot of traditional belief systems, because they really know how to cleanse the body, first of all, so the cleansing effect of yoga, but also the being able to use the body in a way that actually stretches out the spinal cord and the muscles around the spine to really help to start using all of our spinal nervous system. Like, we're all connected, right? Like, our brain is connected to their spinal cord, and to be able to also help to open the pineal gland to higher conscious. So it's really a beautiful way for, while we're cleansing, to connect with our body, connect with our higher conscious, and connect with the divinity of who we are.
And it's so powerful for stimulating that digestive process, and breath and yoga and movement and the asanas all work together. But breath on its own is super powerful. If you look at the primary ways that we get rid of toxins in the body, we do it through the colon, which by having a lot of smoothies and juices and soups, you're going to help to move that through, because you've got the fiber, you've got the liquid nutrition, and hydrating the body a lot is really important for that, which is a big key element of the 7-day cleanse program. And then you have, so that's the colon, then you have your skin and sweat, so that's another way.
Yeah.
So going to saunas or steam baths or things like this can be really powerful. Then breath though. So I put breath work in the movement category, because when you're doing yoga or when you're doing a breath work exercise, I sort of put it in that category. And I've recently interviewed Wim Hof for a new documentary we're working on, which will be The Iceman, which we'll be releasing on FMTV later this year. And Wim is just a fantastic character, and he's done a lot of research showing that simple breathwork exercises, of which I did some this morning, really help to activate the lymph system. The lymph system is there's 4 times more lymph than there is blood in your body, and the lymph system is like a pump system and a liquid system that really helps to carry toxins out of the body as well and support detoxification pathways. And even through breath alone, through expelling breath out of the mouth, that helps to carry toxins out of the body. Strangely enough, most people don't think about that. And
even jumping on a trampoline. I mean, kids know it. They just love jumping on trampolines. So it activates the lymph.
Activates the lymph system, yeah.
Activates the breathing.
So then also with breath work, what you're doing is you're really activating the vascular system, and you're improving and increasing the amount of oxygen that you carry in the body. And when you have an increased amount of oxygen in the body, you become more alkaline. So what is the importance of drinking green drinks, having green smoothies, which we're going to talk about and demo in a minute, having lots of green foods in the diet, parsley and cilantro for detoxing heavy metals? Why?
Fresh, uncooked
because
greens.
Those greens actually help increase our oxygen carrying capacity in the blood, and they help to alkalize our blood. And so does breath work. Breath work helps to alkalize our blood. 15 to 20 minutes of deep, deep breathing will help to alkalize your entire system and your brain stem and everything. So, and there's a lot of studies showing, Dr. Otto Warburg showing that, you know, an Austrian researcher in the 1900s was showing that if you have increased oxygen in the body and an alkaline environment, disease cannot take hold. You know, viruses and disease have a lot harder time taking hold in an alkaline environment.
But that was, for me, even new news. When I heard that from Wim Hof's interview, I actually didn't know that breathing and diaphragmatic breathing can actually create an alkaline state in our body. That's incredible.
Yeah, profound knowledge,
That's
profound
so
knowledge.
exciting. So that also means during the cleanse, a lot of people might say, you know, I just don't feel like exercising. I'm already feeling a little bit like, you know, I need to give my body a break. So let's, you know, not do like the hardcore gym exercises or workouts that we normally would be used to doing. But even just sitting in you know, lying in Shavasana, or actually sitting in
Like a lotus pose,
a
doing some
lotus
deep
pose,
breath work.
doing
Yeah.
deep diaphragmatic breathing, that already would feel like a workout for a lot
So
of people.
and really what we've done is with the 7-day cleanse that's launching on FMTV, with the new Start Together Finish Together date of April 3rd, next Monday, we've really wanted to make it so that you feel like you're always succeeding. So there's lots of short yoga classes in there. You don't have to do a 60-minute yoga class in order to feel like you're really cleansing and getting your body cleaned out. It can be a simple 5-10 minute class, 10-15 minute class. Like Laurentine said, it could be simple breath work. These are just ways to stimulate the body and have that movement happening in order to support the digestive process. So it doesn't have to be difficult. So let's answer a few questions now on movement, because we've had a few come through the Facebook page as well recently. So Cara Gill writes, I would like to see more input, tips and guidelines and programming for feeding athletes. I'm not sure if this is the forum. Well, with athletes, if you're doing a cleanse as an athlete, I would still recommend focusing more on rest than really going hard on your body, because what we're trying to do, the idea of doing a liquid cleanse or focusing on juices, soups and smoothies, and then there is approved snacks as well, so that if you really, really, really feel like you can't make it or you're really hungry, we have an approved snack section, so don't worry, you can do that. But if you're a bit more strict and you want to stick to it, that's great too. But with athletes or anybody doing this cleanse, it's really about giving your body some rest. The body loves rest. You know, when you're properly rested, when you sleep well, you start to heal, and you start to also take energy away from your digestive processes, and your body uses that energy in other areas to maybe to stimulate digestion, to stimulate healing processes, to help draw out toxins out of the body. So that's why the yoga and breath work is really important during a cleansing period. It's a completely other discussion once you've done a cleanse and you're on the normal program of how do I be an epic athlete, how do I improve my performance. That's another discussion, maybe not for today. There's a question here from Jana as well. Do you want to read that out?
I've done detoxes in the past and noticed pain coming and going in different parts of my body. What does this actually mean? Well, yeah, I think a lot of times when we do a cleanse or a detox, there are going to be some symptoms of detoxification. Our body may be dealing with different things, like either we start noticing some headaches, or, you know, if you're a coffee drinker, you might get migraines or pains in your head or aching joints, because these are really feeling like your body is really craving something, and like there might be a sugar withdrawal or a coffee withdrawal. So it's actually your body trying to tell you something like, hey, I need these things that I've previously had access to and I can't get anymore. So it's really, if you are thinking about it like, oh, well, this must not be good for me because my body's in aches and pains, it actually may be a better idea just to like sit with it and start thinking, you know, tuning in with our body. What is this actually meaning? You know, how is this coming up? Is there anything I can do? Maybe drink more water, or, you know, asking your body. Normally our bodies will know if this is a healing process or if this is just our body saying, I can't handle this. So really communicating with ourselves and really listening to our own feelings is really good in that way.
And I think also tuning into if it's a real sense of hunger or if it's an artificial sense of hunger. We've all had that sensation when we're like, oh, I'm hungry. And then if you go drink a liter of water, 20 minutes later, I'm not hungry anymore. You're actually dehydrated. So many people confuse hunger with dehydration. It's such a common thing to do. And we also tend to eat to fill just emotional voids. I mean, we'll get to that in a minute. We just eat for the sake of eating. The biggest ahas I get by doing this cleanse, and some of the team that have done the cleanse as well, is like, why do we eat so much? Why are we so just jamming food down our bodies as opposed to just really giving it what it actually needs, or at least for periods of time during the year, just saying, I'm just going to give you, beautiful body that I love so much, amazing, amazing, amazing high quality ingredients, and just let it go through that process. I think it's really profound. So
and just saying that, I just don't want anyone to feel like the guilt that they can't actually finish this cleanse, or there is like in the program as well, there'll be plenty of ways that you can continue to like feel satiated, like continuing to drink more of the smoothie that you just had, or have more of like a different soup or juice that was on the program as well. So there's a lot of different ways,
and some other approved snacks and that as well. So
yeah, I really don't want anyone to feel that they can't do this because of not feeling satiated enough.
And one of the other things as well is that when you think about, when I think about this cleanse, my focus is on how can I encourage as many people as possible in this Food Matters and FMTV community to add in more beautiful living foods into their diet in a liquid form to make it easier to digest. So even if you say, look, I'm going to add all these foods in, but I'm still going to just eat my normal diet, but I don't want to do the cleanse, but I think I should do it, but I can't do it right now. But even if you just add in these recipes to your normal diet, you're still having a great success. So to me, it's all about adding, and it's at the level that you want to take it to.
And even if you just do 1 or 2 or 3 days out of the 7 days, that's fine too. There's really no right answer with this.
And we're here to support you on that journey as well. So let's get now to the third pillar, which is mindset. I mean, this is such a powerful pillar.
And lucky you're here for everybody to do that.
I know. So the first, to recap, the first is nutrition, the second is movement, and the third is mindset. So, being in a good frame of mind and having a positive mindset and having a positive attitude towards your body, diminishing that self-talk, having positive belief systems about the power of your own body is so incredible when it comes to healing. And I interviewed recently Bruce Lipton. He's the author of Biology of Belief. And he has shown scientifically that the thoughts you have about your body become your body. The thoughts that we have actually impact the quality of our cells. They can turn off and on certain genetic markers that we have in our DNA. So it's absolutely so profound how we treat our mindset, especially during this process. So during this cleanse, I actually have shot mindset and motivation videos every day throughout the cleanse, so that each day I touch base with you on a few different points to help guide you through the process. And I've seen even in the private Facebook group for the FMTV members, a lot of people commenting saying, hey, I just watched the motivational video today. It was such an exciting video, and it really helped me because I had a lot of questions about what to do if I'm hungry, or what if I want to swap out a certain ingredient, or what if I feel like I need to do this, or what about movement and exercise? So a lot of those questions we answer in those mindset videos.
Yeah, just to reiterate the importance of how our self-talk, or how we think about ourselves, or how we actually talk to ourselves. So often we don't realize the power. But there was this a really great experiment that they've done. I mean, I'm sure a lot of other people have done it, but Danielle Laporte was showing how, if you look up Danielle Laporte apple experiment, where she was talking to, and you can do this with your kids as well, you cut up an apple, and then you put it in a jar, and you speak the words like of one jar. For example, you speak the loving words of, I love you, you're beautiful, you're here to heal people, all these beautiful things to this one apple in this one jar. And then you take the other
Don't
apple.
do it to my water.
No, okay. You take the other
sample jar.
Yeah, sample jar B over here, where you put the apple in the sample jar B, and you actually speak horrible things to it. You actually, I mean, I don't like even to say it, but you degrade it, and you say mean things to it. And over time, I think after 2 weeks already, you start noticing that this apple in jar A actually starts to turn, it's starting to rot a little bit, but it's not very badly rotting. And the jar B usually turns into a really bad, ugly, rotting apple. And so it just shows the power of our words and the power of our thoughts really become what we are. Yeah.
So, great point, Laurentine, really great. And I've got some Facebook questions coming through now. So after this mindset section, we're going to get to a demo, and then we're going to be answering some live questions. So keep them coming through. Thank you so much for sharing with them. We've got some here from Frank, Marie, Rosie, Debbie, Jane Ann. Thank you. I'll be getting to them in just a second. So one of the big things about mindset as well is that there's a lot of research showing that when you do something together as a group, or make public commitments as well to other people, you tend to stick to it a lot more. And that's why, with Food Matters, we've been so focused on education. We've had documentaries, and we started FMTV, which is this huge collection of documentaries now, and recipe videos, expert interviews, but then now, since we've started launching these guided programs, which we've just recently done with the 21-day program earlier this year, and now the 7-day Food Matters Cleanse, we've set them to start with a start together and finish together group date where everybody from around the world can collaborate together. And this is something that Laurentine's been so passionate about bringing together, because she's like, there's a certain power when you come together with a group of people to do it. And people have got so many different questions about so many different areas of their life. But when you come together and share those experiences and do it together, it makes it so much more achievable and a lot more fun as well. So
yeah, and I know I personally have friends and family that wanted to do a detox, and a lot of times they're like a little bit scared. You know, they're sitting on the fence. They're like, oh, I don't know. What if something happens to me? What if I break out? Or what if I get so many pains and headaches that I just won't be able to do it, you know? And I think that for anybody that have had those thoughts of like, I really would like to do a cleanse or a detox, that this would be the best time to do it, because we are doing it together as a group of individuals that all have the same mission and values and vision. But the best thing about it as well is our team. We're here to help you every step of the way. Like, it's 24 hours. We're talking live chat, support, James's motivational videos to keep you motivated, and also any questions that come up at any time of the day. Like, one of the most important things that people feel like is that, you know, they won't be able to like communicate with us straight away, but the best thing about it, the live chat, you can actually communicate with us straight away. When you're in the supermarket, you have questions about the recipes, you can just like chat with us. Hey, what does this actually mean? What ingredients do I need to look out for when I'm buying almonds or avocados or, well, like one ingredient.
So, so the Start Together, Finish Together, our first start date is Monday, April 3rd. So that's coming up in just a few days. And we've got registrations closing at midnight Friday in the US for the 7-day cleanse. And there's also access to so many specials for accessing the cleanse, either as a monthly member or as an annual member of FMTV. So all that information is if you click on the banner below. So it's a fantastic program. But I want to continue to get to some questions here. There's a few people writing a little bit about with certain types of chronic disease. I'm going to read out a few questions here. Frank Alvarez writes, do you have a guided cleanse program for type 2 diabetes? And Carolyn writes, is it right for anybody to do the 7-day cleanse, people with any kind of disease, such as diabetes, liver disease, cancer? I want to encourage my aunt to do the cleanse with me. And Rosie as well wrote about this. So is the cleanse suitable for someone on a low histamine, low FODMAP diet and type 2 diabetes or insulin resistance? These are great questions. And I think the first thing that should come up is with any sort of chronic disease, you really want to be working with a healthcare practitioner or your GP to be able to say, hey, do you personally think it's safe for me to do this? From my perspective with regards to the cleanse, the way that we've structured the cleanse is we put it together in a way where we want to encourage you to introduce as many life-giving, beautiful foods into your diet as possible. So if somebody has chronic disease, they can keep their everyday diet and just add these in. So if you've got your aunt with cancer, I mean, she could add in these foods. I mean, these are healthy foods to be adding into a diet every day. But with severe chronic diseases like cancer and that forth, I'd be looking to kickstart her on programs like this, obviously working with her practitioners, but then looking at more deeper nutritional cleansing programs, maybe like Gerson therapy or things like this. With diabetes and so forth, you really want to look at how do we keep that blood sugar as stable as possible. That's the key with diabetes. Actually, the key for obesity, diabetes, weight gain, energy, brain fog. It's about balancing blood sugar. And the way that we do that is we either reduce as many high sugar fruits, vegetables, or processed foods from the diet as possible.
Because a lot of the processed foods, like the breads or the pastas, actually turn to sugar in our blood.
Or at the same time, if we're having some of those sweeter foods, we make sure that we have a protein source and a fat source with it so that it can stabilize that blood sugar. And that's a really, really, really key point. And smoothies give you the ability to do that, which is why we're such a big fan of smoothies, and it's a cornerstone of the 7-day cleanse program. So great questions there. And we're going to be keeping to answer some here. So Gabriella Maurer also writes, you mentioned too many fruits, too much sugar. I love fruit. How many serves/smoothies with fruit should I have per day? Look, when I interviewed Dr. McCullough a couple of years ago, he said, you know, we don't need more.
He's pretty anti-fruit.
He's pretty anti-fruit, but let's sit on the fence a little bit here, because I think fruit can be really powerful as well, but you've got to just have it in a balanced way. I think he said something really interesting. He said, we don't need more fruits and vegetables. We need more vegetables and fruits. And I was like, wow, how profound, because we're always so, we need 5 servings of fruits and vegetables. We need this much fruits and vegetables and this fruits and vegetables. And so people go and have 5 servings of fruit and they're like, sweet, I got my servings in. But we need to really look at how we're getting mostly green alkalizing vegetables with a small amount of fruit in our diet. Now, if you have candida or blood sugar issues, you want to be even upping that more, like making sure that vegetables, and especially those green alkalizing vegetables, make up a big proportion of your diet. And then having a small amount of date or banana or something like this, or pear or green apple or lime or lemon. Lime is a really great low GI fruit as well for sweetening things. It gives that sensation of sweetening, especially when you're making a green juice. But for most people, I think that just reducing the overall fruit consumption is really powerful. A lot of people really struggle going to 100% alkaline, fruit-free diet. It's quite extreme for a lot of people. If you have severe candida or yeast infection, if you have severe, really, really bad
I'd keep
diabetes, blood sugar, I'd be really as low as possible, if not eliminating. But if you
but
just...
a lot of times as well, like with kids, you can't say, oh, we're not going to do that many fruits, because kids love fruits. And I would say with that, make sure that they also eat a good fat with it. So for example, when Hugo wants to eat lots of fruits, like he loves dates and he loves apples and he loves high sugar fruits, then I always try to find, a way to also introduce like good fats, like avocado. Have, avocado with him straight away after that, or at the same time sometimes. Or, some coconut products, like even just, there's this beautiful thing called coconut cream, which is the...
Creamed coconut, yeah.
So
amazing.
Creamed coconut. It's not actually coconut cream, you're right. So how's that different from coconut
It's just
cream?
it's the flesh and the oil like blended together, like basically blended. It's so good. Yeah.
Delicious. Kids love that. So yeah, to have that together with the fruit is really good idea.
So we're going to get to our demo in just a few seconds here. So we're going to be making a smoothie live on this webinar. We really hope it's going to work out, but it should do no problems because we've made this one a lot of times before. As we transition into that, so this mindset section, just remember the start together, finish together. This is such an important element. And the 7-day cleanse, the 7-day Food Matters cleanse on FMTV, the start date is April 3rd. That's this coming Monday. And the cutoff for registration with all the specials that we have running at the moment is midnight Friday the 31st. So that's midnight in the US on Friday and early morning on Saturday if you're in Australia. But let's just make it Friday night as well, because we want to give you that weekend, that Saturday and Sunday,
to
prepare, do all the shopping, download everything, everything you need from the recipes. Yeah. And there is a bit of a prep day on the Sunday as well, making a beautiful broth, which is a vegetable broth. And you can add in an optional chicken broth as well if you want, that you use for the soups throughout the 7 days. So that's why it's important that we finish up on the Friday. And I wanted to talk a little bit before we get to the demo about some of the key specials that we have running right now. So on the monthly specials, we have $1 for 30 days, then $9.95 a month. This is an incredible entry point if you just want to get in at any cost and do this cleanse right away. And it's an unbelievable offer. You'll not only get access to the 7-day cleanse on FMTV, you'll also get access to the entire of FMTV library. However, we also have an annual offer, which is if you sign up for the entire year on FMTV, which is just $99, which equates to a 20% saving on the monthly membership. You'll also get access to over $200 in instantly downloadable bonuses. This includes the entire brand new Juices, Soups, and Smoothies ebook that we've just launched, and a plethora of other great ebooks with cleansing and detox, and our Food Matters recipe book. Fantastic ebooks, and they're so tangible. You can download it, have access to it instantly. We also have a $5,000 prize pool, which I can go into more details in a minute, on that annual offer. So this is strictly limited time offers, these 2 monthly and annual offers. They're only available until midnight Friday Eastern time, and you can click on the banner below, just below this video, to check out those offers. But one of the main things I wanted to stress as well, and to highlight really, as we get into making this live demo, is that this program sits on FMTV. So not only will you get access to the entire 7-day cleanse program, you get access to FMTV, which is, there's over 1,000 now, documentaries, recipe videos, yoga and meditation classes, and now a whole library of guided programs, like education programs.
When you download the app, you can literally go through it on the app as well. It's very exciting.
So there's apps for iOS apps. We have Apple TV, Roku, and we're also coming on some new platforms in the next few months. So make sure to click on the banner, check out those specials, and let's make a smoothie. What do you guys reckon? We'll make a smoothie, and then we can get to some more Q&As as well.
Let's do it.
So we're going to try to stand up, but not stand up. We're going to slide this in
yeah.
here, and then we're going to sit down again so we can be in shot. There we go. So we've brought in here our little board here, and this is a this smoothie here is called the Signature Green Smoothie. So I'm going to put up a little bit of a slide here so that you can see the ingredients of the smoothie as well, so we can talk through it a little bit. So the Signature Green Smoothie has 1 handful of baby spinach, which can be fresh or frozen.
I'll start putting it
frozen is, well, they can't see it either. It's sort of fun. I just want them to look at these. So maybe just write these down, and then you can have it on you. So I'll just talk through it, and then we'll go to the demo. So a handful of baby spinach, fresh or frozen, half an avocado, 1 banana, 1 date pitted, a serving of protein powder of choice. So this can be a vegan protein powder. It could be hemp seeds. It could be a whey if you do okay on whey protein. Then half a teaspoon of cinnamon. Then 12 ounces, or about 355 milliliters, of unsweetened plant-based milk of choice. So we really love things like coconut, hemp, almond, and you can home make that, or you can buy it store-bought, but make sure it's unsweetened. So let's come back to us here now, and let's put this together. So the first ingredient we have is the spinach. So spinach is, surprisingly, it's about 99% water. Maybe it's a little bit less, but it's unbelievable. So it's really rich in hydration. It's one of the most alkalizing vegetables on the planet. So this is one of the most alkalizing things you can put in your body. So, and it's such a soft vegetable, so it's really great, a soft sort of salad vegetable. So it's really great for putting into smoothies because it just blends up really well. So spinach is fantastic. You can throw a handful in like that.
You can also get frozen spinach. If you don't have access to fresh spinach all the time, I sometimes like to keep a bag of frozen spinach in my freezer for this occasion as well.
So then we're really starting with that alkalizing greens with the spinach. Then we go in with the avocado. So I think the skin's off that. It is too. We've had that fully prepped, so we can just drop that straight in. So this avocado, I mean, avocados, again, they're alkalizing. They're really high in healthy fats as well. And fat is the most important thing you can have in your diet. You know, one of the big issues we have with diabetes and obesity is that we have too much sugar and not enough fat. So we're getting sugar from processed foods, we're getting sugar from sugar itself, white sugar, and we're getting sugar from too many fruits, and we're getting sugar from processed carbohydrates, and we're not getting enough fat anymore. So you really need to get great good quality fats into your diet
to balance out those blood sugar levels.
So we've gone the avocado in there. Now we're going to go the banana. Banana's really high in potassium. This is quite a big banana, so I'm not going to use all of that. Really high in potassium.
But it's normally one.
Yeah, 1 banana, but that's quite a large banana. We're in Australia, we have these like gigantic bananas here. So we've got banana, avocado in there. Then we've got a date here as well for sweetness. So to me, this is a fantastic way for the whole world to get more greens and to alkalize their blood and make it taste amazing. There's this incredible balance here where we've got the greens and some sweetness from the banana and the date, and then also from the cinnamon. So by having this in a smoothie format, having all these ingredients together, the cinnamon and the fiber in the banana and the whole date and the fats and the protein powder, it really helps to stabilize the blood sugar.
So you don't get those peaks.
So if I didn't have avocado in here, and if we didn't have some protein in here, I wouldn't be recommending to have those sweet fruits. It's only really allowed when you have the protein and the fat component.
That's right.
So, you know, fat components, you want to really think about things like hemp seeds or coconut oil, things like this. So we're going to add
some. Tell us about the protein powders.
So protein powder, this protein powder here is the Food Matters protein powder. Also, we have as one of the bonuses for the FMTV membership, we have some huge discounts on our Food Matters protein and some of our other Food Matters merchandise, including a printed version of the book. That's also only available to midnight Friday as well. So incredible specials there. So this protein powder is made up of a pea protein, an organic pea protein, and an organic Brazil nut protein powder. So why I like those two together is that you have the complete protein from the pea, but you also have the Brazil nut protein, which helps to push up and balance out some of those amino acid profiles, but also high in selenium. And there's great research showing that selenium deficient soils and cultures around the world have increased cancer risk. And Brazil nuts are one of the highest, most bountiful sources of selenium on the planet. So get that micro
Australia has
mineral.
very little amount of selenium in the soil.
Most developed countries have very little selenium in the soil because they're. I might go a little bit more of that. In there, that was a big tablespoon. This is actually a big spoon on its own. Look, isn't that gigantic?
So you're just adding
So-
more, are you?
Well, a little bit more. So then we go in with our milk,
This is the
coconut milk.
milk, but you can use almond milk,
Yep.
hemp milk.
So there we have it. This is it. So we've got to now blend it. So we're using today, this is a NutriBullet RX. I love the NutriBullets. I think they're great. I love the Vitamixes. I love Blendtex. I'm a lover, not a hater, when it comes to blenders. And this one is very powerful. I always joke that if you put a outboard, I'm going to bring it. Oh, we can see that there. If you put an outboard motor, if you put a propeller on it, you could drive a boat. So let's give this a blend. That's in. Yeah. It's probably really loud right now, isn't it? Okay.
That'll do.
Even my software is saying feedback detected. It's tripping out. Okay, cool. So you can see it's got a wonderful green color. You can also supercharge that green by adding in some spirulina or chlorella. And like I said earlier, if you don't do well on too much high sugar fruits, you could maybe leave the date out or banana out or put a bit of lime in there. Just experiment, see what works best for you. But here we go, look at this. Unbelievable.
Oh, liquid nutrition. That's a meal in a jar, isn't it?
Meal in a jar. Gonna move that out of the road there. So who wants to enjoy that? I'm gonna pull up some more questions here as well. So keep your questions coming, guys. We're gonna take a few more questions now as we get towards this part of the webinar. And I wanted to talk while you're having a sip. Can I have a sip before you have a sip?
Go,
Oh,
yeah, go.
So I just have a few testimonials here from our private Facebook group. So one of the things you get access to when you sign up as an FMTV member is our private Facebook group for FMTV members. So anytime we're holding a Start Together, Finish Together guided program, we have extra support in there from our team of Food Matters Angels. So you can have support in the private Facebook group, or we have 24-hour live chat on the Food Matters, the FMTV website as well, where the program is. And also you can comment there so that any part of your journey, we're going to be able to support you. Here's a few bit of feedback from the private Facebook group. Leslie Allen writes, I'm on day 3 of the 7-day cleanse. So she started early before the group date. Because
is fine.
It's fine. You can do this whenever you want. So even if you just sign up now to take advantage of these specials that finish at midnight Friday, you can still sign up now and then do the 7-day cleanse in 2 weeks' time, in 4 weeks' time. Maybe you're traveling or busy.
Or you've got a wedding on.
Or you can start tomorrow if you're hardcore and intense. Or today. So she writes,
fine.
I'm on day 3 of the 7-day cleanse. Things that I've noticed so far, I have more energy. I haven't had the 3 p.m. energy slump. I'm not craving sugar too much. I'm not as bloated as normal. My head feels less foggy. And she writes, I had a lunch. Sometimes I ate a few carrots and cucumber sticks with mashed up avo, but I'm just amazed at how I feel.
Wow.
All the smoothies, except for day 2, she says she doesn't like the pineapple too much. But if you have something that you don't love in the smoothies, there was a lady on the private Facebook group, she doesn't do well on cucumbers. I love cucumbers, so I want them in there.
If you know that from yourself, then
Just leave it out. Omit that ingredient.
Or just just text us and ask us what would you recommend.
We substitute for it. But I think I might do this every 2 months. How's everyone else going? So that went out to the community. I'm sure that there was lots and lots of comments of people replying. And Laurie Ann says, wait a sec, Cindy Mark Matson, had to start my 7-day cleanse early, but it's day 2 and I can't believe that I'm not hungry, which is amazing because day 2 is normally the hardest day. And I've got a video on that day.
I would say that as well. That's our day that I know that everyone's going to have a hard time with. And James has specifically done a motivational day for that day. And I think it's day 2 because you're realizing, I really still want to go back to the old way I was eating. And there's so many other challenges around, like people around you, maybe family members. They're just like, oh, can't you just, eat normally again? And personally, you might not be feeling so well. So there's a lot of internal, chatter saying, can we just stop with this now? So I feel that day 2, is the hardest. And I know that one of the guys from the office, Matthias, he's really excited about this cleanse. And he said he probably wouldn't have made it through if we didn't support him with day 2. And now that he's done day 2 and he actually managed to finish the whole 7 days and he feels amazing. And he actually still takes a lot of the smoothies and soups to work. And he loves it so much. So.
And I think it's really about, this 7-day cleanse is about how do we give our body just a period of time where we just input some of the best foods that we have access to on the planet and really give it some epic rest. So we have a few more questions coming here. Beth writes about moving toxins out of the body. How do we ensure toxins move out of our body during a cleanse? And do you recommend enemas? I think Beth and Greg were both sort of writing about that. That's a great question. So typically, this is a gentle type of cleanse. This is not a fast. So fasting is where you're having liquid only or juices only, and you're really going through an intense fasting process. This is what I would more put on a cleanse sort of restart, kickstart program, where it's like replacing an everyday diet with more of a liquid diet. So having the soups for dinners, the smoothies and that throughout the day, some juices and teas and that to keep you there, and then some of the approved snacks as well in the download workbook that you get. So if you want to supercharge this, we do have some recommendations in there. One of them is a vitamin C flush, so that you can, before the cleanse starts, you can take high doses of vitamin C in a powdered form every sort of 15 minutes, and that helps to...
Yeah, we give it full instructions on how to do it.
That helps to cleanse the colon out just before you start the cleanse. And enemas are fantastic. Like, one of the primary ways that we detox our body is through the colon. The reason why I do recommend it in there as suggested additions. The reason why I don't make it a must for people is that it is a bit daunting for everyday people to do it.
Not necessarily, because our body knows how to detox as well. Like, our elimination organs are going to be opening up, and you'll start noticing that things will start flowing naturally. So if we give our body the time to heal and to go back and to really work on ourselves, then it will do that naturally anyway.
Yep. So I recommend doing the enemas and colonics throughout the program if you can. It's a great team building experience if you're a couple. And it's lots of fun and really powerful way to cleanse out the body. There was another question here I actually had. Jane Ann writes, my digestion seems to be slow with constipation as a result, and thyroid issue plays a role. What do you recommend to keep you regular? Hold that, because someone else was saying something here as well about digestion. Or maybe that was it there. Oh no, here it is. Debbie said, I did my first juice cleanse. It was a 5-day cleanse. I stopped on the 4th evening because I didn't go to the bathroom the whole time. I did not feel the toxins were coming out. What can I do to avoid this? Well, I think Debbie and Jane, one of the biggest pieces of advice I can give for keeping regular is having some fiber, having some vitamin C. The vitamin C.
For anyone that's listening that's backed up or feeling constipated, doing the vitamin C flush before you start the cleanse is a really great idea. It really just helps to empty it all out, and you sort of start feeling clean already.
Yeah.
And the vitamin C, it's just natural vitamin C. It's natural.
Like a powdered vitamin C source, like an ascorbic acid or something. Try to get the cleanest, most natural source as possible.
Yeah, and then take that every 15 minutes, just a teaspoon in water, and taking that every 15 minutes until you reach bowel tolerance, and you will know when you reach bowel tolerance. Like, sometimes it takes an hour, sometimes 2 hours.
Sometimes it's less. It depends on your vitamin C levels in the body. In addition to that vitamin C flush, which is great to do pre-cleanse, and we actually recommend it as a pre-cleanse process if you want to add that on, I would also talk about hydration, because even if you're doing a juice cleanse, that's great. You're probably getting a lot of juices into your diet and hydration, but drinking lots of water can be really powerful. And one of the things I noticed is that and David Wolfe has said this over and over and over again, like, what are some of the most important things you can do in the morning, and it's drink more water. That's why in the mornings we have a hydration ritual on the 7-day cleanse as well, where there's some sort of like green drink or a green juice or something to just really get that liquid into the body, and it helps to detoxify the body and to boost up that elimination pathway through the colon. So
and anytime that you are feeling hungry, it would be a great idea just to start with a glass of water, or a glass of water with some green powders mixed through it, or even a tablespoon of coconut oil, and then swish it around your mouth. You don't necessarily have to swallow it. Just the idea of that going into your mouth and your body just realizing that, oh, there's some food going into my body. It's actually a little bit of a trick, but it definitely works. But yeah, just a glass of water or a glass of green drink to really help to eliminate. That is a really great way.
Okay, so we'll take some more questions as well. I just wanted to touch on a few more points about the 7-day cleanse program on FMTV. And, really one of the things that's, I really want to touch on what's included in the cleanse program. Someone say, like, well, what's actually in it so I know what I'm going to get? Well, we've got the 7-day meal plan and the shopping list. So this shopping list you can literally download straight from the program and take with you. Also, we have the printed book available if you take part in the members specials, which you can have sent to you.
And just to reiterate for people that are just joining us, so it's juices, smoothies, and soups. It's basically like a liquid meal that we're only focusing on. So there's no salads. There's I mean, if you want to add, that's fine as well. But it's just really that's where the bulk of the nutrition is coming
liquid
from.
cleansing. So there's the 7-day meal plan and shopping list. We also have video instructions on each of the recipes every day. So I'm personally like in this kitchen, I've made all the recipes with you and instructions about them, some of the key ingredients that are important for health and detoxification and cleansing. So that's every day. There's also daily motivational videos that I've shot that are included inside the program. These are 100% plant-based recipes as well, so it's vegan friendly. There is one option on the broth if you wanted to make that a chicken broth, but it's optional just for people that want to focus on that gut healing, having that element in there, which has been proven
important for gut. Do you want to talk a little bit about chicken broth and the benefits of it?
Not just yet. I also want to go through there's a lot of quick and budget-friendly recipes in there as well. So these recipes are not expensive. What Laurentine and I really focused on is how can we find the most accessible ingredients that are going to be applicable to everybody all around the world. So
we don't want it to make it too difficult for people to do, and a lot of people don't necessarily have access to health food stores.
Yeah.
You should be able to buy everything in local supermarket.
So you get everything you need inside the 7-day cleanse program as soon as you sign up as an FMTV member, with these specials finishing up on midnight Friday, March 31st. You will have access to everything you need to do this cleanse, whether you choose to start with us on that group start date on Monday the 3rd, or do it at any time you like with having full access to the FMTV program. Now, Laurentine did mention there about the 2 different types of broth that we have.
Okay, yep.
So it's a vegetable-based broth, which is a detox healing broth, which becomes the basis of all the soups throughout the cleanse. So there's different soups. There's like a spiced cauliflower soup, a pumpkin soup, which is getting amazing feedback on the, or a squash soup, which is getting amazing feedback on the private Facebook group.
It's so delicious.
And the other one is a green vegetable soup, which is amazing as well. So these are the base of the soups throughout the program. And you can either use a vegetable-based broth with that, or there is an option to add in chicken as well to make it a chicken broth. And that's just if you've got some serious gut issues like leaky gut or irritable bowel. Chicken broth has been proven to be very important and healing in that of the gut wall. So it can be a consideration, because of the gelatin component in there. It can be a consideration if you wanted to add that in. But overall, we made this a vegetarian and vegan program, so it's suitable for everybody. So we've covered so much here. Testimonials. We've got any other question coming in here? What about taking supplements? Ava writes, what about taking supplements when you're on the cleanse? We don't typically recommend any supplements on the cleanse. If you were going to take something, I would suggest it be on the herbal side. There is a detox tea that we recommend for people. You can buy that as a store-bought or make your own tea. So there's so many great detox herbs that you can add into there. Slippery elm is great for digestion. You have licorice root. You have clove oil. Well, that's a bit extreme. You can put that, not really. You don't want to ingest that. That's more for parasites. Or you can soak cloves and put them into a smoothie if you've got parasite issues. Then there's also things like wormwood, things like that, anti-parasitic herbs, horsetail, nettle. So you can make your own detox tea as well, or you can supplement with some of those detox herbs. But the teas are also a part of the program in the evenings and all throughout the day whenever you want them. We also have a detox latte as well, which is a fantastic take on it.
Everybody's loving that. When you say latte, I first thought that was coffee. So are we having coffee for this cleanse?
There's no coffee on this cleanse,
I just
guys.
wanted to make
There's
sure
no coffee.
that everyone knew that. Yeah, there's a lot of people have been worried about how they're going to go without coffee. But I feel that if anything, like during a cleanse for your body, when you're like quite addicted to coffee, this would be a really great way to get off it. Like coffee is not necessarily a bad thing for us. It's just that when our body is completely in adrenal overload, or if we're dealing with a lot of stress issues, it might be a good idea to take a break from coffee.
So Debbie Keller also has a question here about using activated charcoal, which I think is great to bring up because David Wolf did talk about that in his interview. She says, is it simply about adding some and how much to water and drinking it, and is the time of day important? So this is something that you could also, a supplement that you could potentially add into your cleanse. I would suggest, and I know that David Wolf suggests, taking that activated charcoal first thing in the morning, because you have certain metabolic wastes, hormonal waste, things like this that are in your system, and charcoal can help to take that out.
Wow.
Typically, I see it in a supplement form, and the supplement is normally 2 capsules.
Just like in a veggie cap sort of
Yeah, it's normally 2 capsules. So taking it in a powdered form, you just have to look at the instructions of your particular charcoal in order to figure out what that is. Gally, can you buy the cookbook even if you can't sign up? Right now, it's available free to download for annual members. And the workbook, which is the trimmed down version, is available to all FMTV members. And the FMTV specials are only available to members on midnight, March 31st. We'll be making the book available to everybody, but that won't be for a little bit of time yet. Colleen writes, where do I purchase these specials available to Friday? As soon as you sign up and become a member, you'll be sent a link to that on the confirmation page. You'll be able to access those specials. Gilda writes, US dollars or Australian dollars? If you're in Australian, it'll be in Australian dollars. If you're in America or Canada or rest of the world, you'll be in US dollars. And one of the things I wanted to touch on here as well is the fact that Laurentine's mission with FMTV, with this community, is to make it as accessible to everybody. So look, if you're ready to go and become an annual member and pay $99 and get 12 months access to FMTV, all the guided programs, over $200 worth of downloadable ebooks, plus going to a $5,000 prize draw, welcome, we love you, amazing. It's an easy way to just set and forget and have access to the program for the rest of the year, watch all the documentaries, recipes, everything. If you're on the fence and you're wondering, how can I do this, but I don't have much money to invest, Laurentine's had an epic idea, which is to make $1 for 30 days available to everybody. So that if you just want to get in the door, do the cleanse, give it a try, watch some documentaries, and start taking those first steps to improving your health, then you can sign up as a monthly member at just $1 for the first 30 days.
And then thereafter, you can decide whether you want to stay on. If you've got enough out of it already, that's time. You can cancel at any time.
So we really want to make this as accessible as possible for as many people around the world to have access to this life-changing information, because I know...
Because let's face it, there's a lot of people right now that are dealing and struggling with their health, and they just don't have anywhere to turn. They might have, they might be able to go to a doctor, but they might not have the funds for it at that time, or they're, drastically searching the internet to try and get this information themselves. And a lot of times, unfortunately, on the internet, there's a lot of conflicting messages, and they just get overwhelmed, overloaded, and they may as well not do anything.
Yeah, and it's also that it is expensive to be healthy. The problem is because we've subsidized unhealthy food. It's actually cheap to buy fast food. It's cheap to buy genetically modified corn-fed beef. It's cheap to buy a lot of these foods which are not very good for our health. So that's why we wanted to make the educational component of this as accessible as possible. One of the questions we have too from Caroline as well is about the cost of organic food. And I know this is a big question because organics can be more expensive. And I really recommend people invest in organic food in the long run because A, you're voting for low toxic food, B, you're supporting your body, C, you're supporting the environment, and D's next, right? Yeah, geez, I know the alphabet. You're actually investing in your health long term because medical bills are expensive, and the less toxins you can put into your body, the better. But if you don't have to buy everything at a health food store, Carolyn. One of the great things you can do is to reference the EWG environmental working groups. They have a Dirty Dozen, Clean 15. I think we just published an updated version of that on the Food Matters website, where you can learn about what are the most toxic conventional foods. Things like celery, spinach, blueberries, apples, etc. They're the highest pesticide ratings when they tested them. And then the lowest ones, these are conventional foods with low pesticide ratings, and things like avocados and pineapples. So they're safe to buy non-organic, and the other ones you want to try get organic where possible. And a lot of the time, the best place to save money is to actually buy that frozen. So frozen blueberries, frozen organic blueberries, frozen organic spinach is actually quite affordable.
Yeah,
and it can store for longer so that you can use a little bit when you're making a smoothie daily. You can just use a little bit of that frozen spinach or a little bit of those frozen blueberries and keep it organic as well. So really, really good points there.
So we also had a few people asking, who is this cleanse for and who is this cleanse not for? So I just wanted to reiterate this sort of conditions that might be a telltale sign of us having to do a cleanse. And our body, sometimes can be crying out for this. So some of the things that this may be you: brain fog, fatigue, insomnia, sweet cravings, constipation, mood swings, bloating and gas, persistent headaches, skin conditions, bad breath, or allergies and food sensitivities. I had a friend contact me the other day, and she's like, I don't know what's going on in my body. I get a sensitive reaction to everything I touch these days. Like I went camping the other day, we set up the tent, and the fumes inside of that tent, I couldn't actually sleep all night. I had such a bad headache. And then she said she just needed to have a relaxing bath, and her husband suggested, why don't you put some nice candles on around the bath and have a really nice bath. And she ended up having a sensitivity reaction as well from the candles, because some candles are laced
Phthalates and stuff.
laced with phthalates, and these unnatural smells can really cause sensitive reaction as well in our brain and cause headaches. So and then I said to her, a lot of these symptoms sounds like your body is dealing with overload of toxicity, and it's getting triggered by allergies for food or allergies for certain environmental chemicals around us. So I would say for a lot of people that are dealing with these types of sensitivities, the best thing to be doing is to look at ourselves and go, do we need to do this cleanse, and will this help us to get rid of some of the toxins?
Yeah, and if you haven't done a cleanse before, if you've never done a detox before, we've seen some comments already inside the private Facebook. People have like, I've never done a cleanse before a detox, and I started, and they had some questions. We're here to support you. That's the biggest thing we want to do by providing this FMTV platform, is to say that we want to be your nutritionists, your partners in health. We want to be there for you to help you go through your journey of life, to do cleanses, to once or twice a year just to spend some time cleaning your body out, to watch some documentaries, to try educate your family members about natural treatments for cancer or diabetes or depression or anxiety, to learn more about how to heal your body naturally, how to support your gut, how to heal your gut. And so you don't have to worry if you've never been into this before, or if this is the first time you're starting a cleanse, because we're here to help you. We have all the support here necessary. We've got a great team of people here that are available to chat with you 24/7, to answer questions on live chat, on our private Facebook group, to really make sure even if you're like, I don't know where to download the book, here's the link, no problems, we got you sorted. So we can literally baby you through this whole process and make sure that you're going to get the best results possible, because our biggest mission here is how can we help light you up and improve your health, because I've seen the incredible benefits of me doing that in my family. To have my dad that was on medications, bedridden, 50 pounds overweight, to now being somebody that I share clothes with. We hug each other when we see each other.
It's true.
We actually have such...
I'm the biggest hippie too.
They're hippies now too. We have such a close relationship as a family now than we did 5 or 10 years ago. And it's been a huge transformation. And that is something that you can't really put a price on. Like, what price do I put on having my dad here? And it was really to have him transform his health in that way. And unfortunately, Laurentine's dad's going through health challenges as well. It just puts such a real cost on what it means to be family, to be healthy, to be happy. These are the most important goals that we've got. And, Wim Hof said in his interview the other day, he's like, I want to be healthy, happy, and strong. These are the common goals of humanity.
Yeah.
And if we don't have that, we have nothing. I've had the privilege of working side by side with two of the top 10 wealthiest people in the world before I got into filmmaking. And those two that I worked with were overweight, stressed out often, and not altogether that happy. And I see that we spend so much of our time focusing on external things, and we forget to focus on that internal health, creating peace in our body and peace in our cells. And it's such an important thing to do.
The way I'd like to see it as well is like, you can see us as your online personal nutritionist. We're guiding you through this. And yes, this may be a seven-day cleanse, but there are so many other amazing things like programs that you can be part of as part of the FMTV membership.
So we have like the 21-day guided program.
You might be asking, what's after the 7-day cleanse? Then there's a 21-day guided program where we hold your hand every step of the way, from shopping lists and recipes. It's not necessarily a cleanse, but it's definitely a way.
It's like an everyday life. We'd recommend it after the 7-day cleanse.
Straight after the 7-day cleanse, if you're thinking, all right, that was really good for my body. Now I want to just, instead of going back to the way I was eating before that, I want to go to a healthy way of eating, like a healthy lifestyle. And the 21-day program is perfect for that, So
we had thousands of people go through that at the start of the year. Amazing testimonials from people that have just made these simple additions. And it takes those 3 pillars again: nutrition, movement, and mindset, And so every day adding beautiful foods that balance blood sugar, that really support your health and nutrition. Then the movement element, which is amazing, just that gentle yoga classes, and the mindset work as well with daily visualization and meditation.
And again, you're supported 24/7. We've got a live Facebook group for that as well, and an amazing support community within. So that would be something to be able to think about, like, as you know, as much as I don't want to harp on about the price, but really just to be thinking about, like, to have your own personal nutritionist in your back pocket, so to speak. Like, you can call upon us. Is really
would cost you hundreds of dollars a month
normally,
to have that.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, for a dollar you can get in for the first month, and then $9.95 a month is really a small amount to pay for. And if you think about, like, going to if you've got a gym membership and you're, you know, sweating it out trying to get really healthy and fit, some of the things that they may not be teaching you at a gym is the importance of how to look after ourselves nutritionally, and we can provide that for you. It's just an exciting program.
Yeah. Great. So Lisa and Jackie just wrote as well. What if you're already a member? Can you get the specials, and if so, where? I love FMTV. It's the best thing I've ever done. Thank you. Thanks so much, guys.
Jackie.
So grateful for that. So yeah, we'll be sending out another link as well. So when you signed up, you would have got a link. But if you're already an FMTV member, we'll be sending out another link tonight to make sure that you got access to those specials before they close. So thank you so much. So don't forget that even after this live call finishes, we'll be able to still answer your questions in the live chat section below. Our team will be there for you. I'll jump on for a few minutes as well. Thank you so much for putting in your questions and amazing answers. And don't forget that the registration closes for the 7-day cleanse on FMTV midnight on Friday. And you can click on the banner below in order to be able to see those two offers, the monthly special, which is an amazing offer to get in for just $1. Unbelievable. This is a limited time offer that finishes on Friday at midnight, or the annual special where you save 20%, get over $200 in instantly downloadable ebooks. That's an amazing ebook library. I mean, that alone is valuable. And then go into a $5,000 prize pool draw, which includes juices. There's like a retreat as well. There's some reboot prizes with Joe Cross, Anne-Marie Gianni Skincare. It's an amazing prize pool. There'll be so many winners as well because it's such a big prize pool. And yeah, it's just these incredible offers finish up at midnight on Fridays. We want to make sure that everybody, as much as possible, can get in, access FMTV. And don't forget that this gives you entire access to the FMTV platform. I'm talking all the transformative documentaries, recipe videos,
exciting.
yoga and meditation classes, exercise classes, expert interviews, all the expert interviews you've seen maybe during the Detox and Cleanse workshop, but so many more in there with experts like Dr. Josh Axe and Dr. McCullough, Dr. Christine Northrup, a lot on the mind-body healing with emotion and connection, these amazing documentaries. So I can't wait for you to get inside, do the 7-day cleanse, do what you can, do it now, join with us on Monday, April 3rd, or start later.
We can't wait to see you inside.
But we can't wait to see you inside and hang out with you inside FMTV. Have an awesome evening, day, whatever. We love you so much.
Thanks so much for tuning in, guys.
Ciao for now. Bye.
See ya.